Hey guys, Kurt from Time Machine Transport. How you guys doing? Just driving out to the shop. And my brother Stevie K. What's up, brother? How you doing? I know you watch my videos. He and I were talking yesterday, and we were talking about the Ukraine-Russian thing. You know what? I don't think that my sunroof being open is interfering with the video. And I told him, I said, you know, why are we sending so much money to Ukraine? I mean, I think it's like close to $100 billion now or something like that. Excuse my lisp, I got my braces on. How is it that we're sending I believe it's $100 billion so far. I get it if you're supporting your ally or another country, whatever the case is. But here's my question. I personally think it's for money laundering for the upper echelon, the elites, the politicians, whatever the case is. But I'm thinking, here's, and you should ask yourself the exact same question. So if you have all these countries that are supporting Ukraine, right? Why do they need money? Rhetorical question, right? Of course, you need money to buy things, right? But if the United States supports Ukraine, England, Canada, Australia, Japan, all these other countries, right? If they all support Ukraine because they're the U.S.'s allies, what good is that? And this is why I think it's money laundering, is because if you have all these countries supporting you and you need to buy goods, weapons, food, whatever the case is, wouldn't the country that they're buying from, so say for instance, I'm the US or I'm UK or whatever the case is, and Ukraine comes to me and says, hey, listen, you support us in this war, yes? Yes. We need $500 million in grain. We need $300 million in, this food commodity, whatever the case is. And that country that supports me would say, okay, you can pay us back later. Don't worry about giving us money now because we support you in the war, right? Well, why do you need money then? Because if I'm supporting you, if I know that my brother is broke and he comes to me and says, or is having financial difficulty or is in financial distress, and he comes to me and says, hey man, I gotta get some food for my family or whatever. Okay, let's go to the store, man. I'll put it on my card. And that's the way it should be, right? So I don't need to transfer any money to you. So we don't need to be transferring any money to Ukraine, because say you're a country that doesn't support Ukraine, right? But you know the strength of the U.S. and its allies, and Ukraine can only get something from that other country that doesn't support them, say, or is neutral, and they don't support either side, Russia or Ukraine. They're just a neutral country. But I can only get my goods from that country. But wouldn't they say, hey, listen, I know you're neutral, but we really need this? And the U.S. and the allies would step in and say, you know what, put it on our tab. You can go ahead and put that on our tab. We don't need to be putting any money in their pockets, because, that's the reason why Ukraine isn't part of NATO, is because they have such a corrupt country. That's the reason why they're not in NATO, because they have corruption problems, right? So why, if you have all these corruption problems, why would we send money there if we can't trust you to be in NATO? How can we trust you with $100 billion just from the U.S. side, but other countries are sending money as well? Not nearly as much money as the U.S. is spending or giving them. So if you can't be trusted to be in NATO, how can you be trusted with all this money? That makes absolutely no freaking sense whatsoever. No sense at all. Why? How? So again, my point being is, why are we sending this money? They don't need money. Just put it on the U.S. and the Allies tab, right? And we have no tracking for this money. There's no checks and balances here. Again, if I could only get this commodity or this weaponry from this certain country, then just put it on the U.S. tab. Or if you support Ukraine, just, hey, don't worry about it. You can pay us back later. Why do you need all this money? There's no reason for it. So the only other explanation is that it's laundered money, or they're using it for some other reason, and they're just saying, oh, we're just going to say that we're giving all the, because again, we're paying to keep the lights on, right? Like I've told people in the past, my analogy of, because they use our tax dollars for this. I don't remember getting a memo or an email from the United States government saying, hey, Kurt, Sarah, my wife, I know you guys are taxpayers, and we used your money to buy all this hardware, all this military hardware, and literally raw cash. The United States left pallets, it's fact, pallets of American currency, U.S. raw dollars in Afghanistan. So they left, I think it's upwards now like $80-some billion in cash, weapons, and hardware in Afghanistan. I don't remember the U.S. sending me or my wife or any of our family members or friends a memo or an email saying, hey, listen, we know we bought all this stuff with your, we know that we spent money with all your, we know we used your money to buy all this stuff and this cash that we were using to pay our informants and whatever. Is it okay if we leave 80-some billion dollars there so we can jet out? No, I never received it. So they basically, again, we're paying to keep the lights on, but they're using our money however they feel free or however they feel fit. And my analogy of us keeping the lights on, like I've said in the past, is basically the United States government is living in our house, a nice big house. And they come to us and they say, I know you're paying the mortgage, I know you're paying the insurance, I know you're paying the taxes, and I know you're paying the utilities, and I know you're paying for the food. I know you're paying for everything, and I'm not paying for anything. But can you please not come in after 10 p.m.? And if you do, please don't make any noise, zero noise. And oh, by the way, you get the small bedroom, and me, the United States government, I get the big bedroom with the bathroom, and you, the taxpayer, get the small bedroom with no bathroom. That's essentially what they're doing. We're paying all the bills, but yet they're telling us how they're going to spend our money. It's ridiculous. So again, ask yourself a logical question. Why are we sending Ukraine raw dollars when they don't need it? They don't need to buy anything. They just put it on your credit, put it on the United States' credit balance sheet or whatever the case is. Or if you're a supporting country, you know what, we support you guys, so don't worry about paying us right now. Why do they need all this money? Anyways, I'm just about to the shop. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Ciao.